Hi guys, so this is a Spectrum Noir coloring tutorial, and I'm coloring up Party Time Lucy from CC Designs, and right now I'm coloring her skin. I'm using TN2 for the darker parts of the skin, and I'm just putting that darker color where I believe the shadows to be, and I'm using FS3 as my lighter color, and I'm just pushing out the TN2 to blend it together. And all I did there was switch the color because the other one was drying out, but it's still the same color, FS3. And I go back in with TN2 just to accentuate the shadow right under her hairline, so it'll look a little bit darker, and right under her neck as well. So I finished with her skin. Now I'm going to color her hair, and I'm doing something a little different. I'm using DR7 as my darkest color, and DR is normally a dark red color, almost a burgundy, but I found it to be really nice to use with the other browns. So it's DR7, and right now I'm just doing the shadows where I think the hair would be darker. So at the top of her head, around the middle where it would curve, and then the bottom. And again, remember, I'm no expert on that. It's just how I like to do it. And then as my second darkest color, I'm using TN8. And I'm just pulling out that DR7. And they actually blend really nicely, although they're not in the same color family. They do blend really nicely. So I'm pulling out that color and flicking the marker at the same time so it'll be more hair-like. And my lightest color is TN7. And basically what I'm going to do is just fill in the rest of her hair where there was no color before. And I'm not going to worry too much about blending because I'm going to go back in with TN8 and draw some strands. So I'm trying to go with the shape of her head, so I curve the lines with her head so it looks like actual hair and it doesn't look like straight lines. So I'm going in with DR7 and just putting the lines right next to that TN8. And right now it looks a little bit blotchy, so I went back in with TN7 and basically just blended it out. And added a bit more lines with the TN8 so it would fill out and it wouldn't look so weird. And again with the DR7. Right now with the DR7 I'm making more shadows in her hair. And as you can tell, when the DR7 is by itself, it looks very like burgundy. But once you add the other colors, it really does blend together. So again, I'm just putting it where I believe the shadows to be. And going in with TN8 and just pulling in that DR7 to blend them together. And I'm going to use TN7 just to blend it all out again. And basically just repeating what I did with the rest of her hair. I'm doing the strands with the TN8. And again, remember to go with the shape of her hair because you don't want to do some stark straight lines on there. So I just did the same exact thing I did on the other part. And now I'm coloring in her dress. I'm using PL2 as the darkest. Oops, sorry. In this part I keep dropping my iPad, so sorry about that. But now I'm using PL2, and I'm just using that as the darkest part. So I'm using it at the top and at the bottom. And then the lightest part, which is going to be PL1, is where her dress curves outward. So I did that, and then I went in with CT4, and I just did the same thing I did with the other colors, putting the darkest at the top and bottom, and then in the middle it's CT1 because I want it to be really far apart from the other one. So I'm using DR7 again, but I'm using it this time to blend with the red, and I'm using DR3 to blend that out, and it actually works really nicely as a shadow for that red color. And for the other side, I'm just using again PL2 and PL1 as my stripes. I made them all different. So I just filled it out. I finished the stripes of her dress, and then the rest of her dress I'm coloring it red. So I'm going to use DR7 and DR3, I believe, just to blend that all out. So I'm just going to color in the top of her dress and the bottom. And that's the nice thing about the DR7, that it blends really nicely with browns and also with the reds. Although it's technically a red color, it does blend nicely with both. So I'm just filling it out. I'll be done in a little bit. So I am finished with the dress, and I'm gonna go, I believe, I think I go on to the bow now. No, I don't. I do her socks. So I am using PL2 and PL1, and also CT4 and CT1 for her socks. And what I did was I put the darkest color on the sides and then the lightest color in the middle, because that's where her leg curves toward you. So that's why I'm putting those darker colors in the sides. So with the yellow, I'm doing the same thing, doing the CT4 on the sides and the CT1 in the middle. And now I am doing her bow, and I'm just putting the darkest where I think it would be darker, with the CT4 and the CT1 again. And I finished blending that out, and now I'm going to color in her shoes and the little balls in her pigtails. And I'm using DR7 because, like I said, DR7 blends really nicely with the reds. So I'm putting the shadow again. You want to assume that it's curving towards you, the middle. So I'm blending it out. And with the other shoe, I also put the darker where her foot curves out. And that's about it. So really simple to do. And I hope this helped some of you. And thanks for watching. Bye.